Welcome to Homebound Chefs with Jim and Jeff. In this episode, Jim and Jeff will teach you how to make dauphinoise potatoes and chicken frangelico. See the video description for a list of ingredients. If you enjoyed this video, please comment, share, and subscribe.
Good morning. It is the Jays from Husband's Home Cooking, and today we're going to be cooking chicken frangelico and dauphinoise potatoes.
And I apologize for the shaky camera. I'm not a selfie stick, as you can imagine.
Okay, so starting with the dauphinoise potatoes, we're going to be using the mandolin to slice up the potatoes very thin. I'll be showing you that. It also includes half and half and heavy cream. Shallots are involved again, salt and pepper, and of course, frangelico liqueur, which we'll be flaming later and showing you how that works. On the other side, we're going to have panko encrusted with almonds in it chicken, and we're using chicken thighs because we did not have chicken breast available.
And chicken thighs have more flavor. They're the darker meat, and they taste better anyway.
A couple more things we're going to be adding to the dauphinoise potatoes will be Italian-style cheese, because we couldn't get any fontina, which is what I usually use, and shaved Romano. I've already put the half and half and heavy cream in the saucepan, and we're going to just put it on a low simmer so it doesn't boil over, just to warm it up, and we'll help reduce it a little bit. Using the mandolin, notice that we're using the safety on it, which this particular mandolin was a gift from a good friend of ours, and it is hard once you get down. So see, I don't have any grip, so you have to stop and adjust your pins.
And Jim is finishing up using the mandolin to slice the potatoes. I'd say they're anywhere from about an eighth of an inch thick. We'll show you that.
So I'm going to be layering the potatoes in the pan, just like you do a lasagna. Layer them all the way across. And I have sprayed the inside of the pan with a little bit of pan, but you can use a little bit of olive oil also to keep everything from sticking. You want to cover the bottom of the pan as much as possible. Notice these are really thin sliced from the mandolin. So I've been cooking since I was 12 years old with my grandparents. Every Sunday, my grandparents would have my aunt and her 4 kids over, an uncle, and then my mother and father and us 5 kids would all get together, and we would have Sunday Italian dinner. A tradition I miss that we try to do with our friends here in Georgia. And then we get together now once a year at Carnival, which is our big Italian feast at my cousin Rita's house. My grandparents were very instrumental in teaching me how to cook, and then I went to school for cooking at Shawshing Valley Tech. So basically, this is like making a lasagna. We're going to layer the cheese, which I've mixed together, the Romano and the Italian shredded cheese. Whoops, I missed. Sometimes you make a mess when you're cooking. I find cooking relaxing. I do a lot of the cooking in the household.
I do a lot of the eating.
Jeff does a lot of the cleanup for me, though, afterwards, which is great. So we layered that with potato and then the cheese. Now we're going to put a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper in between the layers.
Broken record time, season everything.
And we're going to start relayering the potatoes again, covering the cheese. So each layer of this is done now. And we have layered it the exact same way from top to bottom. Potato, cheese, salt, pepper, potato, cheese, salt, pepper, potato, cheese, salt, pepper, all the way up. Just to let you all know too that this video thing that we've been doing is also brought to you by Red Gecko Homes, Jen and William Whipple, great realtors and wonderful friends of ours, and they've been doing all the editing and mixing for us. Okay, some cream is boiling. I had it a little high, but I didn't allow it to go over. And you're going to pour it in and be on the center because it's going to spill everywhere. It smells already amazing. because the hot cream is starting to melt some of the cheese. So you're gonna float it. Let's see how much we got. Okay, I'm gonna put a little more in. And like I said, I usually use Fontina, and I know you can get it up north, but down south, they don't know a lot of Italian stuff. They seem to know more Mexican foods and other ethnic foods. Okay, everything is in, and I'm actually going to put a little bit more cream in. What do you think? Smells delicious already, and it's not even cooked, but that cream was just hot enough that it started to melt and blend all those cheese flavors together.
Remember the good old days of smell-o-vision? Just pretend that's what you got when you're watching this on your favorite device, because it does smell wonderful. Some more cream.
And that's going to be it. I don't want to, I'm going to put all that. 450-degree oven. You're going to cook it for a half hour uncovered, and then we're going to take and do it with tinfoil over the top. Otherwise, you get too brown of a top on it. The best way to serve this is to do this in advance. If you notice, it's, well, the clock's off right now, but it's 12 o'clock. We probably won't make the Frangelico till about 3 o'clock. That'll allow this to cook for 1 hour, and then it's going to rest in the fridge. It works better that way because it sets up good and firm, and you can just microwave it for 1.5 minutes each slice, and then put it on the plates. See you in a bit.
Mise en place means putting in place. Get it all chopped, measured, cleaned, etc. ahead of time. It makes everything cleaner and easier. Also, take a moment to put the heavy cream in a saucepan and start reducing so you have it when you need it.
So we're going to cut the shallots up. I like to prep all my stuff ahead of time, get it ready, get it set, clean everything up so that when I'm working at the stove, I'm only working with those pans and those ingredients. It makes things a lot easier. Sometimes it's a little more time consuming, but I like to work with a clean area and a clean surface. So we got our French knife. We're going to dice up the shallots. Notice how my fingers are lined up with these shallots so that the knife is hitting the tip of my finger itself. Now you can do this in the food processor. Believe it or not, years ago when I cooked this all the time and I had to have shallots around every day, I always used the food processor because it was faster. The other thing is the knife is extremely sharp and my blade sharpened it. I have a sharpener right here that I use all the time from the restaurant. A sharp edge means a safe cut. It means that you won't get yourself hurt. And believe me, I have cut myself a couple times doing up the vegetables by not paying attention. Okay, you want to mince them up. Notice I keep putting them back into a pile. And shallots have so much flavor. They're like a cross between an onion and a
Garlic.
Okay guys, I've pulled the dauphinoise potatoes out. They're on the stove right now. That was the first 30 minutes. See how it's got that nice brown top to it? That's the cheese from the very top. The cream is thickening up nicely. So now I'm going to cover it because I don't want the top getting burned. And I'm not going to cover it super tight. Just like that, to try to keep the top from getting any browner. Now it's going to go back in for 30 to maybe 45 minutes based on the thickness of the pan and how much cream I actually put in, because you want it to firm up nice and thick. See you in a bit. Okay, we're just going to clean up a little bit of the excess fat on the chicken. Notice that this time while I'm working with the knife, I've actually added a plastic cutting board I do not use raw meats of any kind on my cutting board, but I like to clean off the excess fat from the chicken and get it ready. Now, the best part of this whole meal is I can't eat it. I'm allergic to almonds, and this has almonds in it and hazelnuts in it, which I'm allergic to both. So I won't be able to have it, so I'll be preparing my chicken a little bit differently. Hey guys, believe it or not, I don't have a meat tenderizer, so I'm going to be using the potato masher and a little bit more force. Notice I've covered the chicken so it doesn't go all over the place. If you're using chicken breast, this needs to be cut in half and then hammered out so it's a little bit thinner. It will cook up better and it's a little bit more tender. We're using chicken thighs, and the chicken thighs have a good tenderness to them, and so now I'm just going to pound them out a little bit. Okay, so we have 3 egg yolks, we have flour, and we have panko crumbs and almonds mixed together. I'm gonna beat the eggs up. Get them broken up nice, guys. Get them nice and creamy. So when breading the chicken, we're gonna take the chicken, we're gonna pat it down on the flour first. Get it good and covered. Shake the excess. We're gonna then put it in the egg. Let it drip off a little bit. And then we're gonna put it in the almonds and the panko crumbs. And I'm doing this ahead of time. I'm gonna throw them in the fridge and just let them sit. That way they're ready to do the frying and the sauce. By the way, it's a messy job. If you look at the other piece that I did down in the pan, that's my piece with no almonds or anything on it, but it does have some thyme, salt, pepper, some garlic powder, and some cayenne pepper because I like it spicy. Drip, drip. Get them coated good. Coat them really good. Want those almonds to be on there because that's where all this flavor is coming from. And if you notice again, everything, each step we're cleaning up in between, getting the stuff ready. Egg, drip, drip, panko. What we're going to end up doing is sauteing these. It looks like I am making a lot, but again, we're going to be giving the extras today to friends of ours, Jen and William Whipple from Red Gecko Homes and Keller Williams Realty. Awesome friends, awesome realtor. We actually bought our house from them. So the dauphinoise is out of the oven. And as I said, I like serving these after they've been sitting in the fridge. It gets them nice and thick. Makes like a lasagna, but it's thicker. Thickens up in the fridge. Take it out, cut a piece, put it in the microwave, and put that on the serving plate hot. Chic Frangelico. And what we're going to do is pour in a little bit of Bertolli, extra virgin olive oil. Couldn't get our other brand, which I happen to like this brand also very much. First thing you're going to do is you're going to lightly brown the chicken on each side. And if the almonds fall off in this oil, just leave them in the oil. It's going to help even more the flavor of the sauce itself. And then we're going to take and use the same oil to make the sauce in. I'll show you how that goes. But we have the oven set at 4 1/4. I use convection all the time. It is in there. And we'll throw the chicken in there to cook up and finish up for about 15, 20 minutes while I'm making the sauce. My chicken will go in at that time too.
Here's most of the chicken browned on the baking tray. It's got a nice light golden color to it. It may look like we're making a lot for 2 people, but we're actually having a to-go dinner party. In the age of social distancing, our friends are going to come by and pick theirs up in to-go packages that we're going to leave on the front porch because we like to share, and it's so good.
high heat. Hey guys, we'll put the shallots in. Gotta get them moved around. Get them cooked up. Full flame. Okay? We're gonna fire again. A little salt and pepper. Make sure you season enough, guys. People tend to under-season. Salt and pepper's in. Now, 1.25 cups for this size batch. 1 quart cream, 1.25 cups of Frangelico. Notice it didn't catch again. I'm gonna have to feed it. So we fired down the Frangelico, and it did catch. It tends to be a little hard to catch it with this deep of a pan, but I'm going to give it a little more cook to it to make sure. Nice and golden. Still running high heat, guys. The trick is to keep this stuff moving. When it does fire, get it out from underneath your hood so you don't burn or melt your hood unless you have an industrial kitchen hood that's much higher. Now, we've already had the cream simmering for quite some time, so we're going to add the cream into this mix. And we're going to reduce it down to an absolutely beautiful golden brown. Firing up the cream. If it's coming up too high for you, reduce your heat. Reduce your heat, keep it moving. Goes right down. Trick is to keep it moving. You got to use a spatula. I need to get a better spatula, though this one is not very good to work with. Chicken's in the oven finishing off. The vegetables are over there. It's just a little green bean with salt, pepper, butter, and of course fresh garlic. As you can see, it's going to start thickening up, and you want to bring this right down to a golden color. See how it's coming up? The cream is actually coming up right now in the pan on me. I've got it on almost full high heat, so I'm going to move it. Mix it up, stay ahead of it, but you want to get the air out, all those bubbles, and you want this to thicken up. As long as you keep moving it, you can reduce it. Now, if you don't have an oven or a working oven for some reason, you can actually put the chicken in a Dutch oven or a frying pan and cover it and just let it cook there on the low heat. It'll take a little bit longer. It's getting thick. This amount always takes a long time to cook. When you're doing one plate at a time, it's easy, or 2 small plates of it, you're using a half a pint instead of a full quart, but we're making a meal to give to friends. All right, guys, we reduced it down. It's a nice caramel color. It's nice and thick, and it's going to make a beautiful dressing for on top of the Frangelico. We'll show you the plated version in a few minutes.
So here's the finished product. Dauphinoise potatoes, chicken Frangelico, green beans with garlic, salt, and pepper and butter, which I get to eat all of because I'm not allergic, but my husband Jim is, so he gets baked chicken, Dauphinoise potatoes, and green beans. So that's it. Bon appetit from the Homebound Husbands.
Thank you for watching Homebound Chefs with Jim and Jeff. Your questions and comments are welcome. Please post on Facebook or on the original YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and share.